Life Audio.
Welcome to the Team Loss Podcast, where we share how grace, commitment, and cooperation can help couples live the everyday moments of marriage together. Hey everyone, we're Ted
and Ashleigh Slater. It's our 50th episode. To celebrate, today we're talking about celebrations. We'll explore why celebrating together as a couple matters and share a few practical ways you can mark both the big and the small milestones as a couple. So Ted.
Yes. Ashleigh.
We talked to, yeah. In December, we'll celebrate 22 years of marriage.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
That's wild.
That's a long time.
I've never been with anybody as long as I've been with you.
Yeah. Well, same here. But okay, let's go back a few anniversaries.
Okay.
So back when we celebrated our 17th anniversary, I made you a card and I drew a chair in it because traditionally, the traditional gift for 17 years or the 17th anniversary is furniture.
That's the tradition.
Yeah.
Okay.
And apparently we didn't need any more actual furniture at home, or the budget was tight.
Wow.
For whatever reason, I drew you a chair.
Thank you for the chair.
Yes.
Drawing.
But I think it's kind of fascinating to read what the traditional anniversary gift is based on the year and what it symbolizes. I guess there's traditional gifts and modern gifts, but we're sticking with the traditional here.
Yes. Furniture and such.
So I thought it would be fun to do a little bit of trivia on them with you.
Uh-huh.
Are you up for that?
Yeah. Let's do it.
So before we jump into the trivia, though, for those listening, they should know that I don't think we've given each other any of these anniversary year
I bought you furniture
gifts.
before.
But I don't know that you bought it on our 17th anniversary.
No.
So,
yes.
Anyway, just to clarify, we have not followed these, but they're kind of fun to visit. So, okay, here's how the trivia is going to work.
Okay.
I'll tell you what the gift is and what it symbolizes. You'll then guess what anniversary year you think it celebrates.
Okay. All right.
And since we've been married like almost 22 years, some of these actually surprise me for what year they're for.
Okay.
Based on what they symbolize.
Got it.
But the first one's easy. Okay. So the gift is paper.
Paper.
And according to brides.com, the threads within paper symbolize the strength and connectivity of your
1 year anniversary.
Yes, can I finish that? Connectivity of your blossoming relationship. Paper is That's also great. A blank slate, a reference to the beginnings of a new life together. Yeah.
Nice.
So how'd you know that was like one?
It just felt like one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. You ready for one that I think is a little harder, but maybe you're really good at this game?
Is it like silver or diamond or?
It's leather.
Leather.
Yes.
Leather.
And brides.com says, by this point in your marriage, the two of you have definitely seen some things and you're all the stronger for it. Rich and rugged, leather is both durable and protective, like a fortified hide that no longer succumbs to weakness. They're very poetic.
7.
No.
10.
No, 17 is furniture,
right.
Remember? It's actually the 3rd anniversary.
3rd?
Right. That does not sound like a 3rd anniversary description, right?
Well, I mean, it could. Maybe it was these traditional gifts were decided by people who've only been married 3 years. And they're like, we made it 3 years. We are amazing.
Yeah. Maybe.
Which is amazing.
Yeah. And maybe I would have read it differently after we'd been married 5 years.
Right.
Then almost 22.
Okay, you got one more?
I got one more.
Okay.
Okay. The gift is steel.
Steel.
What's it?
Oh, sorry. I was going to guess.
Don't guess yet.
I know.
Me read you
I don't
the
even know what.
description. Oh, my lands. You're like eager. I'm going to give you more clues.
Because I know there's a pizza in the oven. And it's got my name on
There's
it.
no pizza in the oven
yet.
yet.
You haven't put it in yet?
No, I'm going to do that after we're done recording.
Oh, okay.
Apparently, we are having pizza tonight, in case you're wondering. Okay.
And salad.
Yes. Brides.com says, tough and strong, your relationship has built up a steely resolve and should be recognized for it.
Oh, yeah.
This is why this wedding anniversary is traditionally celebrated with steel, the strongest metal in existence.
Well, it would obviously be 25 years.
You would think it's 11.
I mean, 11 years is good.
Well, any of these are good.
They're great, yeah.
Any of these milestones, any of these anniversaries are worth celebrating.
Absolutely.
I was just kind of surprised by some of the descriptions for some of the earlier
Like 1
years.
year paper makes a lot of sense. That's why I guessed it, right?
Right.
2 years might be...
Oh, I don't have it pulled up. I don't
Okay.
remember. Yeah.
Well, yeah, this is kind of sweet. I think it's sweet to remember wedding anniversaries with like things.
Yeah, like traditional type things. Well, anniversary gifts are just one way to celebrate specific milestones in marriage. So after this short break, we're going to talk about more ways to celebrate both the big and the small things in life together. I think I've always been more prone to naturally want to celebrate, I think, than you are.
Yeah.
But the longer we've been married, I think the more we're figuring out how to celebrate together.
Right.
Like a couple weeks ago, you were the one who was like, we need to celebrate this. I think you had like finished a long project.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was a long project. It was a months-long project. Finished it, and I was like, we need to mark this occasion.
Yeah. But that's
like a milestone or milestone.
Yeah, but I don't think you would have said that in the first several years of our marriage.
No, no.
You
But
would've just...
I've heard I'm not a manager. I mean, I manage my own time, but I think I've heard like a leadership quality or manager thing that's good is to mark milestones with your team. Have a little party or get together or something just to, acknowledge a good thing has come about.
Yeah, it makes sense.
That's really awkward to say. Sorry, dear listeners.
As parents, we do that with our kids.
Sure.
Other
than birthdays?
Yeah. And we'll talk a little bit more about that.
Yes, let's talk a little bit more about that.
Okay, so before we jump into like practical tips about celebrating or looking for ways to recognize things to celebrate, other than, the big things that stand out.
Right.
Let's talk about benefits of celebrating together in marriage. I had 3 that came to mind.
Okay.
So I'll share those, and then if you have any to add, you can.
Sounds good. This is not going to be like a term paper, is it?
No. Why? You don't like when I have too many sources?
No, I think it's wonderful. You've done your research.
Okay. No, I just came up with these.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Cool. Let's hear it.
Okay.
First one.
So 1, celebrating unites us. So celebrating gets us on the same page. It causes us to come together and say, yes, this matters. This is something we want to recognize and commemorate. For example, like we often decide together now to celebrate when a big project is finished. Or it might be something, that you're working on or a class that the girls took and they finished. Or we celebrate when they've done a show and it's over.
Right. No, when you were saying that, I was thinking of Jesus eating meals with his buddies, particularly the Last Supper, and they were united except for that one guy. But
Judas.
Yeah,
We'll just call him that one guy now.
That one guy. Let's not name him. I think we moved past that.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay, we'll name him.
He had a part to play in the story.
He did have a part to play in the story. But yeah, I thought of that, celebrating a meal.
Yeah. That's often how we celebrate. So we're like, let's get takeout or let's go out and eat. I mean, I plan trips around food. I like food.
Yeah.
All right. So number 2,
yes,
celebrating helps us remember.
It's a good tie-in.
Yeah. You just talked about
Passover.
Passover. I mean, in scripture, the Israelites had lots of different feasts or festivals.
Yeah. I wish we did that more. I mean, as Christians, I think it's great to have these religious festivals that, you practice alongside your neighbor. I'm sure in Israel they've got a lot of festivals. It's got to be pretty awesome when people put up their huts or their, special things that they do in different seasons.
Yeah, and when the people would celebrate them, it helped them remember something that God had done. For example, and I'm not an expert on Jewish feasts, but maybe this is where I did a little bit of research.
Okay.
The Feast of First Fruits. It happened at the beginning of harvest, and it pointed to Israel's thankfulness to and dependence on God. Or, think of the Feast of Purim.
Sure.
Is that how you say it?
It's Purim.
Yes. Okay. It's celebration. I mean, it reminded people how God delivered the Jews as recorded in the book of Esther. They still celebrate that because we have friends that lived in Israel for years, and I remember them coming up with their costumes for the festivities, you know? And I don't think that celebrating, it doesn't always look like big, exciting, happy celebrations. You know, like after our miscarriage, for several years, we would celebrate Noah, our preborn baby's life, by releasing balloons.
Yep.
And it was a celebration of Noah's life, but it wasn't like a big party. But it did remind us, you know, of God's faithfulness as he walked us through the loss.
That's right. Yeah, that's a good one.
All right.
Yep.
You ready for number 3?
Bring it.
Okay. Celebrating creates shared memories.
Do you remember that one time we celebrated that one thing?
I do. That was a fun thing to celebrate.
A good memory.
Yeah, like celebrating not only creates a shared experience in the moment that unites us, but it also creates a memory for the future. You know, for example, we have gone big a few times for our anniversary. Like we went on a cruise for our 20th.
That was great.
Earlier in our marriage, I don't know if it was like our 7th or 8th anniversary, we stayed at Glen Erie Castle and went to the magical dinner.
That was amazing. That was so cool.
But, I mean, it doesn't have to be big for us to keep talking about it. Like the other day, the girls and I were talking about how when we first moved into this house, which took forever for the builder to finish.
Forever, year and a half.
We picked a movie that we wanted to be the first movie.
What was it? Was it Lord of the Rings?
No, it was Ponyo. Oh, but here's the thing. I didn't remember that it was Ponyo, but the girls did. They remember that was the first movie we watched when we moved into the house. And that was a way to celebrate or mark the house being finished and us finally living in it.
Home, building memories in our own home. It's good.
All right, we're going to take another short break. And when we come back, we'll share a few ways we are learning to celebrate together more. So we talked about some reasons why celebrating together matters. It unites us, it helps us remember, and it creates shared memories. But as we mentioned earlier, we haven't always been great, I think, about celebrating together. But I think we're getting better.
Yeah.
So what are some things that we've done to improve? I have some ideas, and you can add to them if you think of other ones. One, we watch for wins.
Sure. I mean, we've done that. We've done a few of those recently. The girls being in plays that went well, project wrapping up. What else are you thinking of?
Well, and they finish classes or, I don't know. Those are the big things lately. Yeah. But we don't just celebrate, like we don't just consider wins things that have gone well. Like we've also celebrated,
resolving difficult seasons.
Yeah.
We made it through. It's resolved. Let's go celebrate.
Right. I mean, we even celebrate things when maybe they haven't gone well, but we've persevered and we've kept our commitment and we finished it.
Sure.
Because the girls had a show recently that was really challenging. But they kept their commitment. They tried to do what they were supposed to do to the best of their ability. And so we celebrated that. And so I think we can watch, one way to celebrate is to watch for wins, not only the things that are obviously like, oh yes, we should celebrate this, but maybe those things that also build character in us or deepen our dependence on God. And I think that's a great way also to remind ourselves and, if we have kids like we do, to teach them, the idea of life isn't always going to go well or as we planned, but that doesn't mean we can't celebrate what God is doing in and through it.
So the idea just came to me that we're not talking about participation awards.
No.
Like we don't celebrate, oh, you made it through the day and didn't wet your pants or something. That's the most absurd thing that just came to mind.
Yeah.
But it's marking something meaningful.
Right. Yeah. And I think, or perseverance, because a participation award, you can finish something with a really crappy attitude.
Oh, I've done that.
Yeah. But
not lately.
Do you celebrate that? I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like we're veering off the topic a little bit here. Okay. So number two, I have pay attention to interests.
Interesting.
Yes, it is.
What do you mean?
Okay, so for example, like one of our daughters was making a costume based on a character in a film.
Mm-hmm.
And she was in the midst of making it, and I discovered that the actual costume was on display within like half a day's drive.
Mm-hmm.
So I came to you and said, hey, can I take that? Can I take her and the other girls to go see this costume?
Mm-hmm.
And you were like, oh, yeah, that's a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
So we did a day trip. I mean, coming back took forever because there were delays and all of that.
Right.
But together we decided, let's celebrate this daughter's interest and her hard work and
It turned out
what
great.
she's doing. Right. And you may not have actually gone on the road trip with us, but you were still celebrating. It was something that you and I came together and decided together that, yes, this is worth celebrating and putting a little bit of money into celebrating.
Yeah, that's a good one. So it's not just, I mean, I enjoy when we do a meal together, some good Indian food, takeout or something that's special. But that's really outside the box when you're like, hey, let's celebrate by going to the museum where that costume, the real costume from the real movie, is actually on display.
Right.
That's pretty cool.
And I think it kind of expands or challenges our idea of just traditional celebrations, just anniversaries and birthdays. It's figuring out how to celebrate all kinds of different things in life and in this journey.
And who doesn't want to
together.
celebrate once in a while?
Right. Yeah.
People sing songs about celebrations.
This is true. All right. I got one more.
I won't sing any because it might be a copyright violation.
Okay. Number 3, speak up on expectations. And this is something that I've had to learn to do because I have had many.
Some birthday fails.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And if you've listened to the podcast for a while, you know this.
The first year was a birthday fail, wasn't it?
Yeah. But
it's kind of hilarious in retrospect.
For you.
Like, so one day Ashleigh says, so do you want to go to dinner? I'm like, sure. Why? And you're like, it's my birthday.
This is after waiting all day for you to remember that it was my birthday.
Oh, so horrible.
And then by saying, do you want to go to dinner? I was giving you another opportunity to
say, hey, it's your
remember.
birthday. It's a great idea. I just was like.
Yeah. And then we've had birthdays too where you've had to work and work is taken priority.
Yeah.
But what I have learned is to say, and I've only learned this in the last maybe
my birthday's coming up in 2 weeks.
3 or 4 years, is this is what I want to do for my birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that has made birthdays better. So I have spoken up about my expectations.
Yeah. And it's not manipulative or whiny or any of that stuff to mention your expectations or your requests or whatever. I think it's reasonable.
Right. And I think I could still grow in it. I tend to, like, even when I have accomplishments, I tend to not celebrate myself. I mean, I don't think we had any parties.
With the books?
With my books. I don't think we did anything to celebrate the books coming out at all. I think I was going to frame the cover of one of them. And you bought me candles. Here, this is for the shrine to yourself. And so I did not.
What?
Yes.
That doesn't sound like me. A shrine to yourself.
You were probably being playful.
Yeah.
But
let's assume it was playful.
I'm assuming it was playful. But I was like, I don't think I'll frame the cover to the book.
Oh, my goodness. I have done some pretty callous things, I think.
I think you're being playful.
I am
think
being
it's that
playful.
You didn't grow up. You grew up with one sister.
Yeah.
And
a couple brothers.
Yeah, you didn't grow up with a lot of girls, so you're still learning.
Abrasive in my humor.
And I know there's probably things that you have accomplished that I have failed to say, let's celebrate. So I think it goes both ways.
Yeah. I woke up this morning, got out of bed, made the bed.
Did you get up before 9 a.m.?
Define get up. Like Twitch? Yes.
When you get up at like 7 a.m., and you take a walk around the neighborhood, I will celebrate.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure how, but it'll probably involve cake, maybe.
Let's say
cake
yippee,
and coffee.
And you'll kick your ankles together.
This has gotten weird.
This has gotten weird.
All right. So to recap, a few reasons celebrating together matters are that it unites us, It helps us remember, and it creates shared memories. And ways that we are learning to celebrate more are we watch for wins, we pay attention to interests, and we speak up on expectations.
Yeah, that's really good.
So, and I didn't do a lot of term paper research.
No, it's actually a pretty fascinating topic.
You know, I have to credit our daughter Ava, because I was trying to figure out what should we talk about for our 50th episode. And she was like, well, why don't you talk about celebrations? And I was like, that's a great idea.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. So I did not come up with the idea for this topic, but I took her idea and ran with it.
Yeah.
So, okay. After this break, we'll be back with this week's Us Time Challenge. So for this week's Us Time Challenge, find something to celebrate.
Well, now that's easy because there are benefits to celebrating and there are multiple triggers for having a celebration.
Yeah, and there's got to be something people can figure out.
Yeah, think outside. It doesn't have to be an anniversary or a major holiday. Yeah, just find something.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for joining us on the Team Us podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to the podcast, and we'd love to have you leave a review over at Apple Podcasts. We're looking forward to next time as we keep talking about how grace, commitment, and cooperation can help couples live the everyday moments of marriage together.
Team Us with Ted and Ashleigh Slater is a production of Life Audio and Salem Media. If you liked what you heard today, please take a second to rate and review the podcast in your favorite podcast app so that more listeners like you can find the show. For more faith-filled, inspirational podcasts, visit us at lifeaudio.com.